If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, welcome in. It's a new hour of Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Sunday night as we wrap up your weekend and get you ready for the work week ahead in the best way possible. Oklahoma City tying things up in the Mile High City, 2 games apiece on Sunday. And, I mean, let's just call it what it is. After that Friday night thriller in Denver, overtime needed, Nuggets win by 9. This game 4 could not have been more of a dud to start. It was like a day game after a night game in baseball, right? And I know in this case that they had Saturday off in between. But it was like, Sundays in Major League Baseball, how sometimes you just go and the game is an absolute dud and there's some mediocre pitcher on the bump who's got an ERA of 4.5 and he goes out there and throws 6 scoreless like he's, peak Greg Maddux. Because day game after a night game, no batting practice, everyone's asleep, right? That was how this game felt. Everyone was asleep to start this game. The Denver Nuggets, with an all-time terrible first quarter performance, just 8 points in the opening 12 minutes. And Oklahoma City couldn't even carry a double-digit lead into the second quarter. Like, the Thunder had a chance to assert themselves, to dominate this one from the start. But they looked sleepy too. And Oklahoma City had to claw back. They needed a massive fourth quarter where they were plus 11 in the fourth quarter just to win by 5 because they were trailing because the meat and potatoes of the game, the second and third quarter, Denver woke up much faster than Oklahoma City did. And the Thunder, you saw a little desperation mode out of OKC in game 4 of round 2. The team that was a foregone conclusion to win the West. We're all asking, can anyone threaten OKC? It was a foregone conclusion. The Western Conference belonged to the Thunder. And we actually saw some desperation mode kick in the fourth quarter of game 4 of round number 2. I mean, look, this Denver Nuggets team, you're starting to see their experience. I mean, there's no doubt you're watching the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic. And SGA, I think, is the MVP this year, even though it's always funny when, you take the MVP award away from a guy who's won it 3 times, who, oh, by the way, just turned in his best statistical season, and now we're saying he's not the MVP this year. I think it's SGA this season. I love the year that he's had, but Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. And Russ Westbrook has really turned it on at times this series. Not his best work at all in game 4, going just 2 of 12 from the floor. Jamal Murray has had his moments, had 17 in this one, went over that 20.5-point number game 3 that we discussed. Christian Braun finally showed up with 17 in this one. Aaron Gordon had a monster 15-15 game, right? So the Denver Nuggets, they showed up for this one. Took them a little while to get going, but Oklahoma City, to not run away with it early like they had the opportunity to after Denver turns in the worst first quarter performance you could ever possibly dream up, it made me concerned about OKC. Now, they turned it on, and they're going home, knotted up at 2-2. And I'll tell you what, I think this is going the distance. I don't think the Thunder, like the books think, are going to put them away in 6. The books are begging you. They're saying, Oklahoma City in 6 now is a foregone conclusion. I'm sorry. I don't think OKC is going to Denver up 3-2 and ending Jokic's season on his home court. And I say Jokic and not the Nuggets with intention because it's his team. It is Nikola Jokic, right? The Nuggets without Jokic are nothing. You look at this roster, and guys take turns stepping up. But without Jokic out there, none of these guys have the opportunity to step up, right? It is Jokic's team. And I don't think the Joker, just like game 3, he walked out there with that Joker outfit because he was not going down after OKC embarrassed the Nuggets. That 40-plus point win, 47-point win in game 2? He put on the Joker outfit after that. Well, if they're facing elimination, you can expect more of the same in a game 6. I think this series is going the distance. And I do think the home team is going to win each of the next 3. I do think Oklahoma City is going to win it. But I think Oklahoma City, coming off a first-round cakewalk sweep against Memphis, which, by the way, wouldn't have been a cakewalk if Ja Morant didn't get hurt. Might have been a gentleman's sweep, might have been Thunder in 5, but they were losing game 3 if Ja doesn't go down. And we live bet him game 3, and we ended up winning that bet after the Morant injury. But I don't think Oklahoma City was mentally prepared after a sweep and 8 days off for just how physical and how grueling and how exhausting a date with the Denver Nuggets is. And there are really interesting ways to bet this. Look, I gave it out a week ago on this program. Sunday night, May 4th, on Cashing Out. I said Nuggets plus 2.5 games, right? That's already a lock, and it was plus 115. I could not fathom that it was plus money, that the series would go 6. And then I said, oh, by the way, I don't think Denver's losing a game 6 on their home court. It's worth a sprinkle. Thunder, or rather Nuggets plus a game and a half at plus 230. Well, plus 2.5 games plus $1.15 is already locked in. Congrats if you tailed it. Plus 1.5 games. I mean, I think we're destined for 7 here. And you could have gotten plus 230 on Nuggets plus 1.5. That's not the same price anymore. But there are still some good plus money plays to bet this. And I mentioned, the books think this is going 6. They think OKC is winning the next 2. That's minus 145 for exact games for this series to go 6. 7 games? Plus $1.25. Put that in your back pocket. That's worth looking at. Now, you can look at correct score as well. Series spread, Nuggets plus a game and a half, minus 110. It was plus 230 pre-flop. Now it's minus 110. Still not the worst value. But you can go correct score, and this is interesting to me. The favorite, minus 110, is Thunder 4-2. They think it's OKC. Thunder 4-3 is plus $1.90, nearly 2-1. Nuggets 4-3 is 9-1. So now, okay, sit around, do some mental gymnastics. What's better? To play exact outcomes, 7 games, or maybe, put a little something on Thunder plus $1.90, because the exact outcomes, the exact games rather, 7 games is plus 125. Thunder 4-3 is plus $1.90. Nuggets 4-3 is 9-1. You put a half a unit on the Nuggets 4-3 and a full unit on Thunder 4-3. I mean, look, you're sunk. If the thing goes 6, then maybe instead of losing a unit on the exact games, now you're losing a unit and a half. But I don't think this is going 6. And so let's say your unit's $100, right? For easy math. You put 100 on the Thunder to win 4-3. That's 190. You lose 50 on the Nuggets. You're up 140, right? So it's a better ROI than if you just play 7 games, right? Because that's to win 125. Now, if the Nuggets were to win it, that becomes $50 to win 450 minus 100. You're up 350. I know it's a little more of a risk. It's risking a unit and a half versus just a unit. But I think the exact correct score of the series is better than will it go 6 games versus will it go 7 games? Because I think it's definitely going 7. And you can make a little more of a profit. You got to risk a little more, but no risk it, no biscuit. You can make a little more by taking Thunder to win 4-3 and Nuggets to win 4-3. And with a price like 9-1 on the Nuggets, I mean, is that not worth a little sprinkle? I don't know. If you want to go quarter unit on it, be my guest. Right? Quarter unit would be what? Like 25, say we're doing a $100 unit here. What, $25 on that at 9-1 gets you $225? I mean, come on. Be my guest. So I think that there are definitely some fun ways to bet this series, but I think at the end of the day, this series is going the distance between the Thunder and the Nuggets. And I'll tell you what, whoever does prevail, I think is going to have an easier time in the Western Conference Finals, especially if it's OKC. I think OKC would have a much easier time in the conference finals than they've been having and will continue to have this round. Folks, The Preakness Stakes are right around the corner, less than a week away. So bet them with our friends over at First Bet and get rewarded. New customers at First Bet can use the promo code VEASAN200 to score a 20% rebate on all wagers for the first 60 days up to $200. That's win or lose, you get paid back. Download the First Bet app or go to firstbet.com. Use promo code VEASAN200 and get started today. That's firstbet.com, promo code VEASAN200. Big day, big weekend in Major League Baseball. How about the San Diego Padres on Saturday, beating the Rockies by 3 touchdowns, 21-0. And then Colorado comes back on Sunday. Shockingly, Nick Pivetta going for the Padres. He's been nails to start the year. German Marquez, who's been giving up more than an earned run per inning for Colorado. Padres' run line was like 3.5 at -110. I have never seen anything like that. The run line for San Diego, money line was $3 or more. I saw $3. I saw $3.30 on the money line. But the run line, -1.5, which is your standard run line, was -$2.25 at most shops. 3.5 runs I saw. So they had to win by 4 for your standard 10 cents a vig, not even plus money at that point. It was unbelievable. What do? They lose it outright. The San Diego Padres, bigger than $3 favorites, they lose it outright. And then after the win, Colorado fires Bud Black. I mean, I've got so much to say on this. We'll continue talking Major League Baseball and the disastrous Colorado Rockies, the embarrassing Colorado Rockies on the other side. But how about that? They lose 21-0 and then pull off a massive upset win, and that's when they elect to can the manager. On Mother's Day, nonetheless, the Colorado Rockies, a bottom-rate organization, just absolutely clueless. They make the White Sox look good, but hey, now the White Sox have God on their side, so maybe they've got a little turnaround coming. More Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo up next.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back. Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Sunday night here on The Big Show. Sunday in baseball wrapped up. The Colorado Rockies win a game and fire Bud Black. Honestly, and I'm not going to spend too much more time on this, but honestly, good for Bud Black. I mean, this is a baseball lifer who, despite, parts of 9 seasons with the Rockies, turns in a losing record. I mean, there were years where Bud Black considerably overachieved with that Colorado team. He was not given the tools. Ownership made a splash, signed Chris Bryant. Bryant practically breaks, and then they don't want to spend $1 after that, right? You know the old expression, scared money don't make money, right? Bryant didn't work out. They got scared. They have not spent $1 since. And Bud Black, with that roster, was supposed to do what exactly? I mean, make no mistake about it. The Rockies aren't bad because of Bud Black's incompetence. The Rockies are historically bad because their front office has put and I want to say this nicely, I don't want to say crap because they are human beings at the end of the day, but they've put a crap product on the field. Let's call it what it is. Billy Beane said it, right? There's the bottom of the league, there's 10 feet of crap, and then there's us. That's the Colorado Rockies right now. I mean, how about, and our terrific producer, Jared Moore, by the way, happy birthday to our sensational producer, Jared Moore, not calling out on his birthday. That's dedication to the craft. He sent me a graphic through 39 games, and now the Rockies have played 40, but this was after Saturday's 21-0 drubbing, the 3-touchdown embarrassment at the hands of the Padres. The Colorado Rockies, last year's White Sox, set the record, modern era, worst record, right? The Rockies, through 39 games, were 5 games worse than the Chicago White Sox last year. Last year's White Sox had 11 wins in 39 games, 11-28. This year's Rockies were 6-33, now 7-33 through 40. I'm not sure what happened the 40th game of the White Sox season last year on the South Side, but the Colorado Rockies are absolutely embarrassing. And to me, this is much more of an ownership and a front office problem than a managerial problem. Bud Black has been a lifer in this game, and they did him a favor the way I see it. They threw him a life preserver to get off that sinking ship. Bud Black is better off. The Rockies aren't better off without Bud Black. Bud Black won that breakup, and there is no doubt about it. He might have been the one who got broken up with, but he was the winner there. Around the rest of the majors on Sunday, how about the Yankees greeting an old friend with a bang, 12-2 over the A's and Luis Severino. Yankees open up the scoring with a 5 spot in the second. Sevy went 4, allowed 8 earned. Just absolutely one-sided, dominant performance from the Yankees lineup. And I was actually looking, I didn't bet the game. I was looking at the A's at a plus money price in that one. I didn't like the Yankees running out Yarborough. I figured it would be an opener game. And once he got handed the lead, he was able to give him 5 really economical innings on 67 pitches and somewhat of a spot start as they push Clark Schmidt back to Seattle on Monday. So the Yankees take 2 out of 3 in Sacramento. How about the Minnesota Twins? Going to earn some brownie points here with our own Steve Cohen, the big boss. The Minnesota Twins all of a sudden can't lose a baseball game. They're one of the best teams in the majors at home. They are now above 500. They got a 24-14 Giants team coming to town for the weekend. And Minnesota was riding a bit of a hot streak, had gotten within 2 games of 500, 18-20. Giants come to town, boom, Minnesota sweeps them. The Giants now 24-17. Twins 21-20. Don't look now. Is the AL Central the best division in baseball? You got 4 teams above 500. Not another single division has just the NL West. The NL West best division in baseball. All right, that was, maybe I spoke too soon. Dodgers, Padres up top. Yeah, NL West undoubtedly best division in baseball. But the AL Central has 4 teams over 500. And then they have the Chicago White Sox. Better than the AL East right now. The Yankees would be battling for second, third place in the AL Central right now. That division, where I thought, it was going to be Tigers and Royals, 2-team race. I had no faith in Cleveland, no faith in Minnesota. Having no faith in Minnesota looked like the right call when they were 13-20. Now they've won 8 in a row. They're 21-20. And they won a couple of pitching duels Friday and Saturday. Had Joe Ryan, by the way, tweeted it out. That's why you follow the show on Twitter at @TheJoeCeraulo. Because I gave out Joe Ryan over 6.5 Ks on Saturday. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'll double check on this quickly, but I believe we got there with 8 and, we got there with 7. Got it on the hook, but was waiting for an offensive outburst, right? Friday, I leaned over. Greg Peterson, Thursday night, came on the show, said he leaned under. I said, if Greg leans under, I'm staying away. Greg was right. It was 3-1 in a game where 2 pitchers had a collective ERA of 12. Minnesota won at 3-1. Saturday, with Joe Ryan on the bump, they win at 2-1. Finally got the over on Sunday we had been waiting for. 7-6 in 10 innings for Minnesota. Pablo Lopez had a serviceable start. His ERA is 2.77 on the year. 6 innings, 4 earned, so the ERA went up to 2.77. 6 strikeouts. Bullpen was pretty solid for the most part. Only 1 earned run by the pen. San Francisco. Going there, look, I get it. Minnesota's hot at home. They're 15-6. Maybe not an easy place to play, but to get swept, to not win a game, pretty surprising by the Giants. The Royals, who had won 16 out of 18 coming into the weekend, lost 2 out of 3 to Boston. Saturday, had the lefty pitching duel, Reagan's Crochet. Also gave out the Reagan's K-prop that won on the hook Saturday over 7.5. And Garrett Crochet just outdueled him. Red Sox won it, ended up blowing up the Royals bullpen, which had been possibly the best bullpen in baseball this year. Then on Sunday, much lower scoring game, but how about Lucas Giolito? 6 2/3, 2 hits, 1 unearned run, 5 Ks, 88 pitches too. Guy could have kept going. After getting blown up in his season debut, Giolito looked like an absolute stud. Red Sox come back from an unearned 1-0 deficit. Tag Lugo for 3 earned in 6 innings, so both pitchers notch a quality start, but a couple of home runs for the Sox. Abreu, Rafi, I won't play first base, Devers with a home run as well. And the Sox leave Kansas City with a nice little series win as they try to keep pace with the New York Yankees in the American League East. They'll go to Detroit now. Tanner Houck opposite Jackson Jobe Monday. And I'll tell you, Tanner Houck has not been good to start the year. Thank goodness Lucas Giolito pitched the way he did, because Houck has been on the struggle bus to start the season. But I'll give him credit. He has had, even though he hasn't gotten a win yet this year, he's 0-2 on the season, a lot of no decisions, 4 straight no decisions. He's had 2 decent starts in a row. 4 2/3 against Texas. Didn't really give him legs in that one. The pitch count got run up, but 2 earned. Sox won the game. 7 innings of 1-run ball against Toronto, where Boston actually lost that game, and it was far and away his best outing of the year. For some reason, Tanner Houck owns the Blue Jays. 2 starts against them this year. He's got 2 no decisions, combined 13 2/3 innings, 2 runs allowed. I don't know how he can't get a win in those games. Toronto actually won both games, but Houck was dominant. Now he's taking on a Detroit team that just lost 2 out of 3 to Texas. How about that? I mean, Detroit has been mowing everyone and their mother down. Now, the Rangers did have pitching advantages. Saturday, a slight advantage, I'd call it. DeGrom against Flaherty, but Flaherty got lit up. That was my one loss Saturday when I tweeted out the K-props. Flaherty, he got the leash pulled so quickly, he couldn't get out there and go another inning to get me 6 Ks. He got 4 on 73 pitches, but he was getting tattooed. Then Sunday, Eovaldi versus Reese Olson. Rangers do it again. Maybe the bats waking up for the Texas Rangers. But the Tigers, fresh off a rare series loss at home for them, now going to host the Red Sox. Houck Jobe Monday, game 1. The Rangers, on the other hand, return home, and they've got no one else than the Colorado Rockies. The only problem when you're betting teams taking on this dumpster fire that is the Colorado Rockies is, how the hell do we find odds that are bettable, right? I mean, the Rangers, I hate going run line with a home team. Did it with Detroit Friday. It was a loser. Skubal turned in a generational performance. The offense only gave him 2. They win it 2-1. Tyler Mahley's going for the Rangers. ERA is sub 1.5. Going up against Chase Dollander for the Rockies, who's got an ERA of 7.7. Rockies don't win on the road. Don't know how. It's against their religion. Yet the run line for a home team, minus 145, you'd have to lay 45 cents. Or minus 1.5, you'd have to lay 45 cents. I just can't get there. Mahley's earned run prop is 1.5. I hate a 1.5 earned run prop. That said, he's gone under that in all but 2 starts this year. Made 8 starts, gone under 1.5 earned 6 times. The Rockies don't hit on the road. I mean, this is a guy with a career ERA over 4. And through 8 starts, Tyler Mahley's got an ERA of 1.48. Do we keep riding him? Do we go under 1.5 earned against Colorado? I don't think the managerial shift is sparking anything for this team on the road. That might be the move. We'll look at the Knicks, Celtics, Wolves, Warriors up next. It's Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, Cashing Out continues with myself, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours or Sunday evening here on the program. Busy Sunday in the NBA playoffs, in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which, you know, I got to say, this was, I think, the first day where every team at some point or another looked a little bit sleepy. I mean, the Maple Leafs getting shut out absolutely stunned me. You had that disastrous start while it was a fun finish. OKC Denver, that start was absolutely disastrous. I don't think it was a credit to good defense. I think it was all about those teams looking like a team in baseball playing a day game after a night game. They just looked absolutely asleep at the wheel that opening quarter. And then you look at the Indiana-Cleveland game and just a total no-show performance from the Cleveland Cavaliers, fresh off a 20-point win, to be down 41 at the half. I mean, there were a lot of moments where teams just got caught looking sleepy on Sunday. That is not going to be the case Monday night at Madison Square Garden, because the Knicks got caught, you know, that early start time, game 3, up 2-0, Celtics coming out, you know, looking like a beast that got awakened. The Knicks are not coming out sleepy Monday night. And Madison Square Garden, is going to be crazy. Look, folks, that city never sleeps. Monday night, you know the crowd's going to be nuts. Doesn't matter what night it is, what day it is, what time it is. It's going to be nuts there. This could be the series for the Knicks. This could be it. And I don't say that as an eternally pessimistic Knicks fan, although maybe I am. But when I say this could be the series, you don't want things to be tied up and have a brand new 3-game set going to Boston for 2 out of the final 3 if needed. That is a nightmare scenario. And at some point, the New York Knicks are going to have to wake the hell up and defend what is one of the best home court environments in the NBA. I know it's Celebrity Row, but this is not casual fan central. All right? Knicks fans absolutely run the city. I've never met a Nets fan in any of the 5 boroughs. Jersey, sure. In Brooklyn, I've never met a Nets fan in Brooklyn. Sorry to break it to you. The New York Knicks are as one-sided of a fan base contingency among any of the 4 major sports in New York. And I think MSG is going to be absolutely rocking. And we've seen the zigzag effect in these NBA playoffs of teams losing one game more often than not, going on to cover the next. And honestly, I'm surprised that after losing Game 3 at home, the Knicks are bigger underdogs Game 4 than they were Game 3. We're looking at 6.5 points, the number here. Money line at DraftKings, 2-1, fluctuates a little. Our friends at ProfitX, you can get Knicks money line plus 220 right now if you think they win it outright. I might go a little more the conservative route and take the points, but I do think the Knicks are going to win this game. And I know, saying that I think the Knicks are going to go up 3-1 over Boston in this series, when coming into things, I was saying Celtics in 5, it's a switcheroo. But at some point, like I said, they've got to defend the damn home court, and they have not done that this postseason. It's got to change sooner or later. They've lost 3 straight games at Madison Square Garden. It feels unimaginable, feels unfathomable that they've lost 3 straight games at MSG. I think that stops right here. Kristaps Porzingis does not look like himself, and he's been injured, and he's been dealing with the illness that's months long, and then the bloody forehead this postseason. Kristaps has dealt with a lot lately. And I'm sorry if this sounds inhumane, but if you're the Knicks, freaking exploit it. Because Boston doesn't have a whole lot of size, a whole lot of a post presence past Kristaps, right? You look at Al Horford. Al Horford's game has changed drastically from his younger years, right? Al Horford, what was it, first 8 years in the league? The guy didn't attempt a 3. Maybe he had, 8 attempted 3s in his first 8 years. Now I feel like Al Horford, all he does is linger around the perimeter. He's not banging bodies at give or take a couple of years, 40 years old, right? So the Knicks have Cat, and they got Mitch, who, by the way, worst free throw shooter I've ever seen in the history of the sport, but has played really well this series. I'm not going to let a couple embarrassing airballed free throws take away from Mitch's job, right? Because I love and respect what Mitch is on this team to do. Mitch Robinson's job, newsflash, that was my job when I played basketball, right? And I was 6'4", so different world. I didn't go anywhere near as far, right? It ended at high school for me. But I was the center who grabbed boards, blocked shots. That's Mitchell Robinson's job. Everyone's their role, right? He ain't a shooter. It would be nice if he could hit his free throws. I'm a little better at the charity stripe than Mitch is. I mean, hey, come on, they're free. Hit them. But Mitch Robinson's had a great series. And with Kristaps not looking like Kristaps, and the Knicks having the advantage in the post, don't try to outshoot this team from 3. What did the Knicks come in under 30% from beyond the arc? Game 3, they were abysmal from beyond the arc. They looked like the Celtics, game 1 and 2, right? Control the pace. It's been a really slow-paced series. 2 teams that pride themselves defensively, and hammer the ball inside. Work it inside. The more you work it inside, the better you'll set up Brunson from 3, Bridges from 3, Anunoby from 3. But get to the paint. And you know who I like from a prop perspective to get to the paint? Because he's an absolute beast on the offensive glass. The glass as a whole, really. And he's not much of a shooter, but he's so athletic. He's great at cutting and creating space and creating opportunities. I like Josh Hart over 11.5 points in this spot. I think Josh Hart is going to be an integral part of any success that the Knicks find game 4. Because Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson are the ones everyone always looks to score and to go for 25, 30, 35 on any given night. Josh Hart quietly, what did he have, 23 game 2? It was the most important piece that the Knicks had, game 2. Hart on the glass, Hart cleaning up the mess. Look, I mean, if he goes over this 11.5 points mark, there's a good chance 50% of his points or more could be offensive rebounds that he cleans up and puts in and finishes. I think Josh Hart is the guy to target. Cat, Brunson, the numbers sometimes get too inflated for me. But I'm looking at Josh Hart over 11.5 points if the Knicks are able to keep this competitive. And look, I think they win. I don't know if I can get there on the money line, but coming off another embarrassing loss on their home court, I think it's going to be a tight one. And I think taking the 6.5 is the right play. I also, by the way, would lean under heavily on the Celtics team total. 107.5, is that what I was seeing? I think the under there is your play. They put up 115 and they finally got it going from 3. And they only eclipsed this mark by 7 points in game 3. Again, Garden's going to be rocking. I think you see a little more law of averages here. Celtics shot absolutely horrifically from beyond the arc, games 1 and 2. They shot sensationally from beyond the arc, game 3. I think their shooting takes a dip from where it was game 3 on Monday. And I think that team total, 107.5, the under is the play there. Certainly the direction I lean as of now. Folks, do you want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our betting splits here at VSiN come straight from Circa and DraftKings, giving you insight into where the sharp action's landing. Circa's known, of course, for taking big bets from the pros, while DraftKings provides a more broad market perspective. That means you're getting the real action, not just public money, but the kinds of wagers that move the lines. See the percentage of bets versus the handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. And get VSiN's exclusive betting splits for as little as $9.99 your first month at VSiN.com/subscribe. Wolves Warriors squaring off for the 4th time Monday night after my Knicks host the Celtics. I got to be honest, and I get it, obviously, time zones, right? No brainer. Knicks Celtics going to be the early game. This just feels like such a dud to go from Knicks Celtics to Wolves Warriors with no Steph. I mean, it feels like the ultimate anticlimactic one game to the next. I don't see a world in which the Warriors can win this game. And frankly, you can look at this a couple ways. Warriors got in the back door with the cover game 3, right? You can look at that and say they were within striking distance game 3, and that was a game where Ant-Man went off for over 30. I mean, shoot, the Warriors pulled ahead, right? They were up 4 going into the 4th quarter in a game with no Steph. You can look at that and say, I think this time they finish. Or you can look at it and say, the Wolves saw Golden State's game plan without Steph. Jimmy got his 30 piece. They're going to zone in and take Jimmy away, game 4. And the Wolves aren't just going to win, but they're going to cover this time. And that they're going to play wire-to-wire basketball instead of really only showing up when it counted game 3 in the 4th quarter. I can't see Golden State without Steph hanging in there. I think they gave them their best shot in game 3, and I can't see game 4's performance out of the Warriors being anywhere close to what they gave game 3. Minnesota's got to win. They've got to cover this game. We're going to take it to the ice. Up next, our buddy Jonathan Davis, VSiN hockey expert, joins us. It's Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with myself, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Sunday night, right into your work week, right into your Monday morning, and now taking you over to the ice as we hit the progressive guest line. Welcome in VSiN hockey expert Jonathan Davis into the show. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at West Coast Hockey. That's HKY for hockey. Jonathan, how are you, my man? We had immaculate weather this weekend in LA. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the hockey. How was your weekend?
Weekend was fantastic. It was a great Saturday night. I think I woke up many of my neighbors, and I was joking with Stormy Bonantoni that I think she may have heard me scream when Vegas scored the winning goal on Saturday night. And then we had Dallas Winnipeg today, and that was a good game. And Toronto was a bit of not as exciting. And in between, a lot of time at the ocean. It was just gorgeous weather. One of the benefits of living near the beach here in Southern California.
Yeah, you and me both, man. I was by the ocean both Saturday and Sunday early in the day, and it was just, best weekend of the year thus far. I'm excited for many to come. Excited for your winners to continue, by the way. You've been on an absolute heater lately, my man. Let's start Washington, Carolina, and let's start with a first goal. Which side are you going here?
Well, we're going to stick with trend is our friend. And, the team coming off a loss to score the first goal of the game. I mean, the numbers have been just super impressive. It's 31-17 to score the first goal. It's 33-15 to score a first period goal. But, the only concern I have with this series is that in 2 of the 3 games, we've been scoreless after the opening 20. So I will take Washington to score the first goal of the game. And, wherever it lands, it lands. And then this is the Josh Applebaum hazmat special play. I know this has been an under series. We've had 3 goals, 4 goals, and 4 goals. But teams coming off of a shutout, Joe, this is a trend that I hit upon early in the year. It kind of fizzled a little after the Four Nations tournament. But here in the playoffs, it's 4-0 to start. Teams coming off of a shutout. The over is cash now in 4 straight games here in the playoffs. So we're going to go over 5.5 at even money, Washington and Carolina.
I love it. Expecting a flurry of goals here. Carolina was giving up goals
Joe,
to
I'm
the
not
Devils.
expecting.
What was that?
I'm praying. I'm not expecting.
That's funny. Look, Carolina, I'm surprised that their goaltending situation has held the way it has this series because the Devils were able to put up some goals. Problem is the Devils couldn't stop the Hurricanes in that opening round. So I expected a little more offense from Washington thus far. Maybe we'll get some here in this game 4. But the team that I'm really expecting offense from, Jonathan, is the Edmonton Oilers. I'm all in on the Oilers to win this game. The way that they lose in that stunning, heartbreaking fashion, game 3 with a second to go, I think they're going to respond well to that. I'm curious where you land on who wins this contest and who kicks off the scoring. I know you've got some action there.
Yeah, look, last night was fantastic. And after that first period, after Edmonton built that 2-0 lead, the Golden Knights shut them down. And I think last night was only the 3rd or 4th time this year that the Edmonton Oilers have been held to 20 or fewer shots in a game. Give credit to the Golden Knights, who, Joe, I think could easily be up 2-1 in this series as opposed to being down 2-1. I think that, hey, look, the hockey gods treated them nicely on Saturday night. They got the win. I'm going to stay away from the side. But there is a way I think you can be a little creative in this one. If you want to guarantee yourself, even if it's just a small profit, you could play both Edmonton and Vegas, separate parlays, each Edmonton money line over 5.5, Vegas money line over 5.5. You're going to come over, they're both at plus money. I don't see how we're getting less than 6 goals in this game. So it's not a big money play, but I think it's a way that, you can hedge and still, if you want to be a little conservative, I think that's the way to go. The first period over has been a big money maker. It's hitting all but one of the Vegas playoff games this year. It's just, right now it's at minus 170. It's a little too pricey for me. So, if you want to play that first period over, I think, you've got to find some sort of partner to go with it. Couple of props I'll be looking at. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins of the Oilers. I think he's on a 7-game point streak. I'll play him for an assist. We cash with that in game number 3. And I like it again. You get that at plus money. And the ageless wonder, Corey Perry, who scored 2 goals and also scored the first goal of the game. If you had either one of those bets on Saturday night, those were hitting at, I think, both around 20, 25 to 1. I just played him for an anytime goal. He's playing with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid for good parts of the game. I'll take him again, get him at just under 3 to 1 to score a goal. Not sure yet on the Vegas side on what props I want. I'm still waiting to hear about the status of Mark Stone and then how the lines will then be formulated once we know whether Stone is in or out.
Yeah, how about Perry? I mean, that guy has put in years in this league, and now to be playing on a line alongside McDavid and Draisaitl. I mean, you never know with Corey Perry at this point at his age when he might decide to hang it up. So this could be a good way to close things out playing alongside those guys. How about that Dallas-Winnipeg game? What are your thoughts on Sunday's conclusion? Winnipeg, was step for step going with Dallas, 1-0, tie it, 2-1, tie it, and then the Stars in the third period. I mean, it's been the case so often lately. Rantanen, another third period goal. They separate themselves 5-2 with the win. 4 coming up. Winnipeg yet to win on the road this postseason. Do the Jets have a shot here?
They do. Just one quick thing on the Vegas game. There are a lot of 7s out there on that total. So I'd be trying to grab a 6.5 as soon as you can before everybody jumps to 7. All right, Winnipeg. Connor Hellebuck. This guy becomes just a pedestrian. Joe, you and I could probably have a better result if we played a road game for the Winnipeg Jets than Connor Hellebuck, who's now 1-10 in his last 11 road playoff games. 9 of those 10 games, the Jets have lost by 3 or more goals. His goals against average is over 5. So, people were getting excited about the 4-0 shutout. And by the way, this was another one that fits the system. Shut out the game before over the next game. But, this is why game 2 was so important for Winnipeg to win, because Connor Hellebuck just can't win on the road. So I wasn't surprised with the eventual outcome. I know Jets fans were a little frustrated with the 3-2 goal that went to video review, but I'm not going to break it down, but the right call was made, but then you can't give up another goal about a minute later. So look, I will continue to bet team total, the Dallas team total over anytime Connor Hell, in this series with the Jets on the road. It's been a real struggle for Winnipeg. I think their goose is cooked.
Yeah, I mean, plus 125 on the money line. I would need a better price to even think about playing them. It's just this team
Joe,
right now
take
when
any
they leave
price
home.
on the money line.
When they're at home, it's one of the best advantages.
Well, it's interesting this year, home ice this year, 40-20 are home teams this year. The last 2 years, the home teams in the playoffs were below 500. So it's been a real turnaround this year. It's been home teams. Favorites are 36-24, and 38 of the 60 games have been decided by 2 or more goals. So it's not been as strong in round 2 for the puck line. But again, home teams and favorites have dominated the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, something they hadn't done the previous 2 years.
Well, that Dallas puck line minus 1.5 is coming in plus $1.80 on home ice. If you're interested in taking that.
I'm not sure.
Okay, that's a juicy alt number.
2.5 at plus 350 is what it was at today. I forgot to give that out. I mean, it was in my notes and I forgot to put it out. But I'm telling you, look, 9 of his 10 road losses, 3 goals or more they've lost by. The 2.5, 1.5 for sure. The 2.5 is worth a play.
Jonathan, final 60 seconds here. Maple Leafs plus $1.25. Home dogs, game 5. They get a couple days to compose themselves. Are we in on them?
I probably will look at some props on them as opposed to playing the Leafs right now. Look, they won the first 2 games at home. I'm just not sure what to expect. Joseph Woll, their goalie, was phenomenal tonight. I'm probably leaning to props as opposed to a side or a total right now.
Yeah, Bobrovsky looked unreal on Sunday afternoon. And he's one of those guys, when he gets hot, good luck getting anything past him. But I don't know. There's something about this Maple Leafs team. I don't know if it's wishful thinking, but I'm kind of hoping that they can get something going here and get over to the conference finals. Jonathan, as always, man, really appreciate the time. Thanks so much for hopping on, brother.
All right, bud. Have a great rest of your night. Talk.
Make sure you follow him on Twitter at West Coast Hockey. That's HKY. VSiN hockey expert Jonathan Davis with us over on the Progressive Guest Line. Back to the hardwood, more NBA playoffs up next. It's Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo.